So you know that every morning assuming mostly every morning I can, I have my holy hour, and I look at the readings and I reflect and I write a little sheet, and I usually put it right here, and I think it's sitting on my desk. So I think I forgot to grab it, and I thought I took it out, and I remember looking at it, but it's not in my pocket. So I remember what I reflected on, but I had a great homily, but now I'm gonna probably miss some of it. But it's what you needed to hear, and it probably has to be. So because this is a feast day of the Sacred Heart, and one of the things that I'd like to offer you for reflection is really the image of the heart is one of love, okay, and how basic that is to the human experience, and the desire for love. And I was thinking about how this desire for love kind of equals everyone, because even a rich man who has everything and anything he's ever wanted can still be jealous of a poor person who knew he was loved or she was loved by someone. Because it's the thing that drives us. It's the thing that constantly causes us to go out into the world and somehow fill it. I mean, it's so basic a human experience that it has to come from the one who created us. You know, the one who created us must know something a lot about love. As a matter of fact, we don't just say that God loves us, but God is love. And there's something within this human existence that has this idea of love, that even as a child who can't even, an infant is the word I actually changed. I had the word child and I crossed off child and I put infant. You know, an infant is so affected by that experience of love, whether he or she grows up thinking, I've never been loved by my parents, or I've never felt that kind of love, and it just affects that person the entire life, because he's searching or she's searching for something to fulfill that love and to feel that love. And then it's the same thing as those hardened teenagers where they probably have been hurt, and so they shut down, or even sometimes us as adults, we've been hurt so much that we shut down, and we don't want to let that love in because we know that it's difficult and it can be painful, right? To let it in and then know, and because we've experienced it, all the way to the widow who, has lost her husband and wife, or has lost her husband and still feels the loss, the pain of love, and so of having loved and lost. And so realizing, if we reflect on this feast day of the Sacred Heart, it's really the feast day of God's love, because we even use the heart as the lifeblood, right? I mean, long before we knew about the anatomy, there was something about the heart. The heart is the core of the being, and this desire for, of who we are, and that's the major image of Christ. The love of God. Even the scriptures say that sometimes when we feel chastised by God, it's one of like a parent who has to correct a child out of love. And it's so basic a human experience. It's so core to our being that, it's also been thwarted and distorted, and, and we seek it when it's been wounded and trying to kind of fill it in some way. When it comes right down to it, I mean, to me, I think in terms of the reflection and why this is such a core symbol of faith in our God, is that it is really what we want. It is really in the end what God has planted within us that makes this life worth living, and we've tried all kinds of other things, and we've distorted it, and we've had dysfunctional love, and and we're seeking it in some places, seeking it in all the wrong places, and it drives people to be loved by people. I love the crowd. I love the people who love me. I want to be loved. I want to be loved by you guys. I want you to love me. There's something about that within our human beings that makes us wake up in the morning in the end. And I think that it is so basic that everything else is above that seems to have that as its basic foundation. And it is one of the core images of our faith in God, of our image of God, is one of love. And that Sacred Heart, and whether it's Divine Mercy, Divine Mercy is really the sort of updated kind of or redone version of the Sacred Heart, because it kind of flows from the core of the center, right? And of mercy and of love. I mean, it's just so sad, I think, at times when we see how people see the faith so differently than that. And maybe it's some of our fault because we don't present it that way. But that, they see the faith as something different. Maybe as their judgmental parents or something like that, and their issues with authority and all that gets involved in that. When really the most basic image, and the fact is that you can follow all the other faiths or different kinds of religions in the world, but ours is based on the fact that God made us and loved us into being. And he gave a part of that to us that then we somehow engage the world that way. May we celebrate today's feast day as that great love and the people that we love in our lives and the mercy that God has given us through that great gift of love, and that hopefully one day we'll see him again. We'll see God and then experience the love in its fullness that we sort of grasp at here, trying to get a taste of it. And when we have it, if most everybody here has at least loved some at one time, or it just feels so right. It feels so in harmony, and we see that it is really part of our very being.